The following comments I'm going to make are very, very serious and need to be taken very seriously. The first thing is, we are told that a particular man's wife has died today in what we are told is a murder. And if that is the case, then I deeply regret it and I'm sorry about it. But there are a number of very, very big questions that need to be answered, because the future of 63 million people hangs in the balance. The husband of Joe Cox was somebody called Brendan Cox, who I'm going to come to in a minute. He's a chief strategist of Save the Children, and he quits after women's complaints of inappropriate behaviour. Right. The other guy who was chief executive on £160,000 a year left for separate reasons. Don't forget that their salaries are paid for by charity donators. A lot of the money that people kindly donate to charity gets put in the back pockets of people like Euro fanatic Brendan Cox. This is Brendan Cox now. Right. He denies allegations against him, but left in September. Of course, just because allegations are untrue doesn't mean you won't resign, so I can't say for sure whether he's guilty or innocent of these allegations. He strenuously denied any wrongdoings, but agreed to leave his post. Right. Several of the women complained about inappropriate behaviour by Brendan. This is a guy who wants us to stay in the EU. When the charity did nothing about it, they threatened to make a huge fuss. Shortly afterwards, it was announced that Brendan was leaving. Then we heard Justin was going as well. Well, they'll certainly save a lot on staff bills, won't they? I'd be prepared to work for Save the Children for much less. How about that? Both fervent Labour supporters at Save the Children, look at them, look at that fat cat grin. Unconnected reasons. No, I'm sure they're inappropriate behaviour. Said these rumours are untrue, says Mr. Cox. Well, with a name like Mr. Cox, it's hard to read. Now, let's find out a little bit more about Mr. Cox. Mr. Cox. He was the Director of Public Policy and Advocacy at Save the Children. He hasn't actually updated his profile here. Special Advisor to the Prime Minister. Right. Senior Press Officer at Oxfam. London South Bank University, London School of Economics, Henley College. Henley. Isn't that David Cameron's constituency? He's an international campaigner and activist. Most recently, he played a major role in civil society campaigning for God knows what. Here he is here with his EU flag going down the river. So this is the moment the Vote Leave lot started hosing my kids with river water. Not okay, friendly, nice friendly lot, says Brendan Cox. Do you think they do that? Would they really do that? I wouldn't be surprised if Vote Leave was in on this. This is probably a little rubbish. The Battle of the Thames for years to come, says Brendan Cox. And this is a tweet of his lovely, lovely wife, who is now dead, apparently. Oh dear. So let's have a look at Mr. Cox. Here he is. Wait a sec, I've got to find something. Wait a sec. Okay, here it is. This is Brendan Cox talking about reasons to be optimistic, why the EU, pro-EU, is going to win the vote. And listen to the cynicism of this man. It's absolutely disgusting. The populists are effectively tapping into wider insecurities. This is nothing new. It's a dangerous breeding ground. Large-scale political disillusionment with mainstream politics and growing concerns over terrorism. Right. Let's have a look at here. I want to tell you the positives. Okay. Demographic trends are on our side. In almost all countries, young people are more progressive than older people. Well, it depends what you mean by progressive. I would say that intelligent people are more progressive. I'm a very progressive guy, Brendan. I'm very progressive. Don't think that just because you're a globalist elitist, right, that you're more progressive than I am. Don't you dare use the word progressive in this fake way. I am progressive, and you are regressive. Okay, young people are between 3 and 4 times more supportive than older people. In addition, people who know refugees are much more likely to be supportive of them and of migration as a whole. Well, why should we be supportive? I know a lot of nice migrants. Doesn't mean I want more of them. You know? Even hippos like hippos, but if there are too many of them in their part of the river, then they attack each other. That's just the way it is. Are hippos racist? That's what hippos do. If their part of the river is overpopulated, hippos go berserk. And that's the way it is with all animals. And in fact, animals often kill their own offspring in order to make space. Okay? That's animal nature. That's just nature in a way. So it says, listen to this. As our society, this is the weasel words of the globalist elitist, Brendan Cox. As our societies become more diverse and immigration reaches more communities, likely being less prejudiced and more supportive. More prejudice against who? Brendan, you're a rich man. You've got plenty of money. Think about it. Think about life if you were poor and lived in a council flat, you silly cunt. Okay, like the battle for LGBT rights. Funny you should mention that. There could be a tipping point. Right, LGBT rights. What a nice... Now, listen to this. We have great allies. If you were to design an ideal set of campaign allies, you would want to unite labour unions, box ticked. Big business, box ticked. Faith groups, fake faith groups, box ticked. Fashion industry, box ticked. Football and public intellectuals, boxes ticked. David Beckham and Stephen Hawking, they're all on board. Alan Sugar and Richard Branson and the Labour fat cats. Right. Arsene Wenger and all the other foreign managers are all pro-EU. What is needed is a strategy to bring them together. Reduce the political risk to them individually. Oh, I see, so they're not supposed to take ownership of their own fucking opinions, eh, you cunt? We need to engage with them, but also help marginalise the resurgent populist right. You know what? I'm not even right-wing. I don't consider myself right-wing. Not at all. About Brendan. Hey, Brendan, why don't you tell us about your seedy past at Save the Children and the fact that women were accusing you of molesting them? Yeah, special advisor to Gordon Brown, various fake charity work, civil war, working with children. Oh, that's nice. Young global leader, the World Economic Forum. One of the top 40 young leaders in international development by DevEx, whoever they are. DevEx sounds very sinister. By the way, his research is sponsored by the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. I rest my case.